One thing that I have learned through my school, college, and office days is that a person is not defined by the journey they take or they are taken on. They are defined by their heart and how they choose to use the knowledge they acquire. Pretty vague, I know. How does it relate to What If and T'Challa and Star Lord? Yes, I'll come to that in a bit. Are you high? No. On life? Also no. The question that you should be asking is, why do I believe in that philosophy? Well, all throughout my school and colleging days, I have witnessed parents blame their offspring's friends for ruining them. I have seen Bengali parents go the extra mile and publicly slap the kid who they think is having a bad influence on their kid. True story, not lying one bit. And when they realize that the other kids weren't the problem, it was your kid who was a piece of shit, it's all too late to make amends. Now, I was obviously not the brightest person in the room, so none of the smart kids really talked to me. I mean, they did, but not on a philosophical level as they did when they talked between themselves. Not their fault though, I wouldn't have understood a thing. However, who knows what would have happened if they would have at least tried. Since they didn't, that particular piece of philosophy remained unacknowledged, unverified, uncontested for the longest time. Then along came Baron Bodar and Janjay Fries's Dark to give me some form of validation through its exploration of people and families spread across various timelines and universes. It went a little deeper in terms of people's inherited characteristics, which meant that their paths were kind of predetermined because their parents were born that way. But the moral of the story was that if you are a good person, you're bound to do good no matter how twisted and violent the journey is. And you might even influence others to do the same. If you are not a good person, even if you are given the best alternatives, you're going to choose the worst ones. There is a third option, which is if you truly believe in change and being something more than you are meant to be, there is a chance that you will go the extra mile to be good. The second episode of What If explores all these topics in a fun and heartwarming way. Yeah, I could have said that without talking about Dark, but I still don't see enough people discussing Dark. So if you want to stop me from mentioning Dark in every other video, then go watch it and tell me how good it is. And maybe, just maybe, I'll stop talking about it. What I will never stop talking about though are A. Sitting through the credits. Yes, even if it is an animated episode, you have to sit through the credits. I make the rules here. B. Being aware of spoilers, of course. Please watch the episode, it's just 30 minutes long, then watch the video. C. Liking and sharing this video, subscribing to my channel, and commenting on anything you want to talk about. Did you like the episode? Do you agree or disagree with my thoughts on the episode? Or do you want to talk about something else entirely? Right. Okay, on with the episode. So in the opening few minutes, it's established that T'Challa has achieved so much while being in the same position as Peter Quill. Instead of becoming recognizable over the course of a movie, he's already a celebrity. He's known for being humble, he exudes regality, thereby echoing his Wakandan origins. Even while sparring, he teaches Korath a thing or two, and rewards his reverence by recruiting him as a Ravager. He intends to restart the Krylorian's dying star and save it from extinction with an Infinity Stone he has just found. He has quote unquote fixed Thanos by just talking to him. He isn't completely anti-genocide though, but he hasn't turned Nebula into an android and they have a pretty regular strained father-daughter relationship. Drax's home planet is intact and so is his wife. And there are many more ripples like that which serve as Easter eggs and references for which you will find hundreds of videos with people stating the obvious. But what does it all mean? How does it flesh out T'Challa? And what does it say about Peter Quill? The most basic take will be that, haha, look at how this What If episode is trolling Peter Quill and he was to blame for everything that happened in Infinity War and he sucks. Yes, it does look like that on the surface, but if you take a breather and think about it a bit, the episode actually shows that Quill didn't do any of the things that T'Challa did because of a character flaw set deep within him. He probably had the choice to save a dying star or earn some money on the side. He probably also had the choice to stay aware of what's happening in the galaxy or ignoring it, only for all of that to come bite him in his ass later on. And he probably had hundreds of choices to turn the Ravagers towards the path of goodness. However, Like a famous person called Michael Scott once said while quoting Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Quill never chose the path towards improvement. He needed an entire team of aliens and a galaxy ending threat to have a change of heart, and he still kept messing up after that. Whereas T'Challa always chose the route that felt somewhat righteous to him. You can say that up until T'Challa and Quill's abduction, while Quill had a rough childhood, T'Challa had a secured educational one. But what stopped Quill from keeping himself educated about the ways of his world and the universe? And what stopped T'Challa from not learning about black history, diplomacy, and gaining leadership qualities? Their moral fiber that's embedded in their very DNA. That is what stopped them. Does that absolve Quill from his crimes against humanity and all other species? No. Instead, it sends an important message that no matter how shitty the situation is, there will always be a choice. You can be selfish and choose the option that's beneficial for you at the moment, or you can be a little far-sighted and choose the option that will enrich you, your legacy, and the galaxy that surrounds you. And well, instead of being greeted like this,
hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
Who?
you will be greeted like this.
Who are you? Identify yourself.
Who, me? I am just an ordinary junker. But there is one name you may know me by.
Oh, Star-Lord! I'm a huge fan of your work.
Jokes apart though, and circling back to the point I was making at the start of this video, I think this episode clearly shows that you can be surrounded by the worst of the worst. But if you are hell-bent on being a force for goodness, no matter what the situation is, no matter what journey you're on, you can be one. And you can even change the said worst of the worst through your actions. That is symbolized by Star-Lord T'Challa. However, if you are all about excuses in order to execute your worst desires, there will always be someone to blame for not taking the road less traveled. That is symbolized by Star-Lord Peter Quill. Deep within though, you will always know that you are in the proverbial driver's seat. That's a good thing though, because self-awareness about your actions might influence you to think about them and start your very own redemption arc. And that is symbolized by Thanos. And that's all I have to say about What If T'Challa was Star-Lord, my fellow fellows. I had talked about the Captain Carter episode in my previous video, and I had said that I wasn't really impressed by it. But I was cautious that maybe it's just that episode and the rest of the show will be fine. And this episode pretty much proves it. I was apprehensive about being too sentimental after listening to Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa after his passing. I did get emotional. However, it didn't stop me from noting how he wasn't just doing an alternate version of Peter Quill's Star-Lord. He was bringing a lot of qualities of the T'Challa we know and love into this iteration of Star-Lord. I felt that T'Challa telling Korath to hit him had parallels with Bruce Lee's Kick Me scene from Enter the Dragon. It kind of made sense because in his first appearance he had struck the iconic Bruce Lee pose, and in one of his last appearances he is echoing the master again. When T'Challa forgives Yondu for lying to him and takes the Ravagers to Wakanda, I felt that it really echoed the last scene from Black Panther, where T'Challa talked about how during times of crisis, we should build bridges instead of raising walls. And then I choked up when the dedicated to Chadwick Boseman message showed up at the end of the episode. So yeah, all in all, I really liked What If episode 2. I felt like a lot of thought was put into what makes the reality that we have seen in the MCU and the one we are seeing now so different, while keeping in mind why the characters are the way they are. The animation was top notch as usual, and now I am really looking forward to the rest of the show. If you want me to make more videos like this, comment section mein jaake let me know. If you like this video, please consider liking and sharing it. Do subscribe to my channel, and as always, please remember to stay healthy and stay safe.